The important thing to look back on now as we report on the Ahmedabad crash is Boeing's track record over the last 5 years, which has been, to say the least, a very, very turbulent one. It has faced a probe over two very similar crashes that took place. This was of a different aircraft type. This was the 737 MAX, which, as you know, was globally grounded for a very long time, leading to one of the largest aviation investigations in history. The Lion Air flight and the Ethiopian Air flight, the crashes that took place in which 346 people had died, sparked one of the deepest and most damaging investigations into Boeing. The 737 MAX aircraft in 2024, after the investigation was complete and the aircraft were back in the air, lost a door panel mid-air. This was an Air Alaska flight. There were no lives lost in this particular accident, but this led to a huge amount of scrutiny as far as factory floor quality control, something that Boeing has always prided itself on, but that became a big talking point as well. Boeing's brand has been taking a beating for about 5 to 6 years now, with the 737 MAX especially now. The whistleblower aspect of Boeing's troubles has been something in the media highlights for a while very sharply, especially John Barnett, who raised many safety concerns, and gave the impression that it was an "I told you so" moment as far as many of these accidents was concerned. He's warned of unsafe manufacturing practices. He'd put out a great deal of information suggesting that he had raised the flag on some of these practices in the past as well. He said that Boeing had responded to Barnett saying that the issues raised by him don't directly affect aviation safety. But John Barnett was found dead in March 2024, adding a very insidious sort of color to this entire thing. Now, the 787 issue becomes personal because the CEO of Boeing, Kelly Ortberg, has had to deal with troubles with the 787 in the past, even though Flight 171's crash is the first accident involving the Boeing Dreamliner, which is otherwise a very well-regarded aircraft. It has had troubles, and Kelly Ortberg will now be challenged by the effort to restore that trust. It's already been facing what I just described to you with the Boeing 737 MAX and now the 787 as well. Like I said, the post-crash effect financially on Boeing has had a telling effect. Their shares have already tanked by about 5%. So that's a shareholder challenge that Boeing will have to look like. The 787 Dreamliner, which was introduced in 2011, carried its billionth passenger last month. It's a widely used, widely operated wide-body passenger jet, and a loss of $11.8 billion is one of the big financial crises that Boeing actually faces in 2024 and going into this year. Total losses since 2019 is a staggering $35 billion. This is an enormous old aviation giant, but this has actually started to hurt. So the financial issues, the suspense and questions over safety will continue to haunt Boeing. Fatalities in this particular accident, 241, like we've been reporting here on NDTV, one sole survivor who just met the Prime Minister as well. But 241 makes this one of the biggest and most damaging accidents involving a Boeing aircraft. There was a 737 crash in 2024 of Jeju Airlines. 179 people died in that particular accident. Let's move on to the next one. There are other. This was a Boeing 737, once again, 21. This was the Air India Express in Kozhikode in Kerala, which had landed and broken apart after landing. 21 people had died in that particular crash. Benny had thankfully survived as well. The 737 MAX 8 air crash, this was the Lion Air crash that I was referring to at the beginning of this video. 189 people crashed in that. This is the genesis of what became that bigger investigation. And then you had the Ethiopian air crash as well, just a few months later, in which 157 people died. It all came down to something called the MCAS, or Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, which became a buzzword, a piece of software that spawned an enormous investigation into Boeing. So over nearly 400 people dying in two aircraft accidents spawned perhaps the biggest dark period as far as Boeing's reputation is concerned. There was a Bihar crash in 2000 in which a Boeing 737-200 crashed. 60 people had died in that particular crash. So what we do know right now about the Dreamliners, and like I said, these are aircraft that are wide-body, twin-engine aircraft built for efficiency and speed. Boeing's, big answer to aircraft from its rival Airbus. This is the first crash involving the 787 Dreamliner type since its introduction in 2011.